So, it's John Costa, the editor of Citizen's Eye, and we're here up at Grace Road Cricket Ground for a sleep out for Action Homeless. Not the Big Snooze. Just left Not the Big Snooze 2 with 16 young people sleeping in Hamilton Library. You can't probably see much because it's very dark. It's not too cold yet, but then again, we're not really at 10 o'clock yet, are we?
No.
So, and this is Rob.
Plenty of time still to go.
Rob Parkinson, the CEO of Action Homeless. How you doing,
mate.
Rob?
I'm all right, thank you.
Good. Thanks for agreeing to talk to us again. So here we are, again, a bit warmer, milder than it was this time last year. What are these kind of events like? You do them around the clock tower, and we're here at Grace Road, and you do them on the steps of DMU and stuff like that. What ultimately is it about?
There's two things it's about. One is it's about raising awareness of rough sleeping and homelessness in Leicester, because actually we've got some serious issues to do with homelessness in the city. Leicester has more rough sleepers right now than any city outside of London. It has a big problem in terms of the number of people who are repeat homeless statistics, and it also has a lot of people in housing needs. So tonight is about raising awareness of that, and it's also crucially about generating money, fundraising money for Action Homeless, so that throughout the next 12 months we can put on emergency beds to make sure that people don't need to rough sleep in Leicester. That's what it's all about, and that's what the other sleep outs that students in the city have been doing and will be doing throughout the year. That's what it's all about, and actually between us we're able to raise some great awareness and some great funds to see if we can end the problem in the city.
Now, I've just been doing an audio interview on iPadia with Richard, and we were talking about like being a service user and what support he gets from Action Homeless, and in 5 months' time he's moving on to his own flat, and we were just talking about that kind of almost some of the fear maybe of being institutionalised and going on and doing that kind of stuff. Do you think something like this, and I know a lot of it's around students and stuff like that, it's about busting myths, isn't it, really, about why people end up being homeless, and it can affect anybody?
Yeah, and this event is great for busting myths. Just take last year, we had our first sleep out with lots of people that never ever experienced the cold we had last year. It was much colder than this last year, and the people that were organising the event were former rough sleepers, and for the first time in many of those people's life they were actually experts at something. They were experts at something that nobody else there had a clue about, and actually that change in expertise, that change in roles, was a very powerful experience for a lot of people. Now, it doesn't just stop there. That's just one example of busting those myths. And what we're about as an organisation, what lots of our partners are about, is actually starting to create opportunities for people. So ending homelessness isn't just about putting roofs over people's lives. It's about creating jobs. It's about creating opportunities. It's about creating chances for change that can take people from pretty horrible circumstances, which people are going to just get a little tiny snapshot of tonight, and to create something much better, so that actually people don't actually find themselves in this situation ever again, and that they've got an opportunity to move on with their life and achieve some real positive things.
Now, anyone who's ever watched any of the films I've done with you, you're getting better and better at this, Rob, because you beautifully moved me into Howard. If you actually only knew how smooth that pass was, he could be playing at the Tigers ground. A beautiful pass over to Howard from Action Trust. How are you?
Yeah, fine, thanks.
Okay, tell us a little bit for those. I'm sure there'll be many people won't understand, what Action Trust is, what it's about, how it came about.
Yeah, Action Trust provides work experience and employment opportunities for ex-offenders, homeless people and armed forces veterans. And it was a joint venture that started about 18 months ago. The idea, we're talking to Action Homeless about this. I'm from the Trees Group, and the two organisations have got together, and we've created this business. We've provided 19 people with opportunities in the first 11 months of operation, and 9 people have had employment from that.
And do they have a period of employment that's guaranteed, that's
yes,
time limited?
Yes. If people come to us, there's an 8-week work experience process. Whilst people are still on benefits, so that there's a safety net there. They get to know us, we get to know them, and hopefully everything works out. And the majority of them then move on into 6 months employment with us.
Okay.
And the idea is at the end of the 6 months, they then have an employment history and a reference, and can move on elsewhere.
It's that kind of chicken and the egg, isn't it? It's kind of like, if you haven't got an address, you can't get this, but if you don't have this, you can't get an address. And this is one of that classic cycle, isn't it? Which is, you've got something in your history that affects your employment, whether it's the fact that you've had a period of homelessness, whatever length of time, maybe you've come out of the services, and really most people who are civilians, I spent 5 years in the army, would not even be able to understand what you could bring to an employer, because you're not going to shoot anybody, or stay up all night, or put dirt on your face, and then of course you've got people that are ex-offenders, and so all those barriers are there to even get employment, to try and get you back into
it's
society.
really difficult for people, and what we wanted to do, and what I've been doing for the last 10 years, is trying to give opportunities to people where other employers wouldn't. Because I know, having worked in the past with ex-offenders, with homeless people, with long-term unemployed people, the majority just want an opportunity. And if you can create a job for them that they can do, it's no point in trying to create jobs that are too high level. You're still in that process of rebuilding people's lives, rebuilding their self-esteem, and this is just part of that rebuilding process. And effectively, you're taking people from dependency to independent living and employment. And if we can do that over a sort of 9-month period, I think we've done a really good job.
How many parts of Action Trust are there now?
Well, now
I lose track. You guys seem to be adding it more. I've got 20 news agencies, but I remember I was going to stop at 4, and I think you've got about that number now.
Well,
so
it's not quite. We started off with Action Clean, and we've added on Action Paint, Action Garden, and Action Fix, which is a handyman service. And we're looking at a new venture at the moment, which is more on the sort of hospitality and catering side that will hopefully happen in the next few months. So it's building up. But the reason that I'm here tonight is because I've never had to sleep rough for real. The 2 other managers who are involved with Action Trust have never had to sleep rough for real. But all our current employees have, and a lot of the people that we've given work experience to have had to sleep rough for real. So, and some of them are stewards here tonight, so they're looking after us. But the idea is to try and raise some money to help other people who get into that homeless situation. And we just think for us, it's putting a little bit back and to show that we actually do care. It's not just about trying to find jobs for them and then becoming employees, but we really appreciate where they've come from, and we want to help other people to start to turn their lives around. If it's an emergency bed at Mayfield House that we've paid for through Sleeping Out Tonight, that's fantastic. That's the sort of thing we want to do, and then we can begin that process of transforming people's lives.
Howard, thanks very much.